Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the garage for another Sunday natter with me, Andy the Gabby Cabby. Hope you are all okay on this Sunday, the end of the weekend. I nearly said the end of the week, but I suppose it is the end of the week, isn't it? End of the weekend, and I hope you've all had a smashing time. I've got a problem in here in my garage, kind of that way. If I point that way, I can hear drip, drip, drip. I've got my boiler leaking, but where my microphone is, you shouldn't hear the drip, so it should be perfectly safe and sound. Anyway, let's have a look who we've got in the chat, shall we? And I'm seeing a load of regular names already. So, as my pal Russ says, let's have a roll call. Chris Card, I wonder who will be moving in. Yes, I saw your comment earlier, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant. I always duck in and have a look before we get going too much. Cosmic War Toad, hello. Minge Pump, Blue Angel. Oh, what's this? I'm the original Cosmic War Toad. I just had to set up a new account because I can't use my previous smartphone number. I can't get into my account. Oh, okay. Looks like you've had a few issues there. I hope it's all sorted now. Gary Thornbury, hello. Blood Nose, as ever, in the background. The moderator, looking after the comments. Julie Baldwin as well is in the house. Good to see you. Michael Hancock, another regular. Good to see you, my friend. What's that? Psychotic Otter. Love it. Good evening to you. Jean-Marc Bordeaux, greetings from France. Mark and Janice, boiler leak. A plumber will be 200 quid to knock on your door. Well, I do rent, so hopefully it's just a call to the landlord and that will be sorted, but I'll find out tomorrow. Ryan, good evening to you. I literally just saw your WhatsApp message you sent through just as I sat down to do this. So, yes, hello back to you. I'm fine, my friend, and we'll catch up soon. But thank you for being in here already. Hello, Julie Baldwin, my other spanner person. Pete Nikolic. Hey up. Dang, woke me up. Hi, Andy. Hello to you. Anne-Marie White. Bleach Demon, evening chaps and chapettes. The Love Healing Company, hello to you. I will come back to your comment in a little while. Mick Cardstaff, Tony Tasker, WTF. I always love that screen name. I think like that quite often when I see some stuff, especially today. Ben, Andy, Peter, Ian, Aaron, Mr. Unix man. I never got the hang of Unix. I was a Windows guru in my time. Now I'm a cab driver. Moorhen, hello to you. Julie Keys, good evening. Glad to see you because I think you've missed me a couple of times, haven't you? Oh, yeah, Chris Card, I'm with you now. I know what you're talking about. Absolutely. Robert Allport, hello to you. Tony the Wizard, evening. Absolutely. Mr. Vulcan Bomber, good to see you. Is that Silas Talks? I think I'm seeing a couple of names that I don't remember or you have, and I've not commented for a while, but good to see you. And Paul Ingleby, great to see you as well. Wonderful. I love this chat because it's a combination of everybody, regulars, some new guys dropping in. It's wonderful. Jean-Marc, is the Avon lady in tonight? I haven't seen her yet, but she may well drop in. She's always a regular here. Angela Gardner, hello to you. Another regular. Hope you're well. Yeah, my mum, the Avon lady, and I, at the beginning of the week, Monday, went up to High Wycombe to get her new dog, Bonnie, Westie, about 8 weeks old, and was literally about that big. And there's a wonderful picture of her chewing on my chin. They get very teethy at that age, but lovely, gorgeous dog, and just a ticket for my old mum. So that was great. Ben, hello to you. Good to see you. Got some other new people coming in as well. Gobster talks about things. Are you the one that Paz gave a shout out to on a video the other day? I think you are. I have subscribed to your channel and you do great stuff. So I appreciate that and good to see you. Haircut. Hi, Andy. First live. Well, welcome to the show. and I appreciate you. Gobster, yes, I am. Brilliant. Great. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you've been at it, Gobster. I only knew about you when Paz said something, and that's literally how it works. You know, we all kind of link up, make friends, help each other, talk, and we grow together. That's how it works. I mean, perhaps we can have a natter at some point about possibly doing something. Who knows? But keep in touch, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, there you go. Example, Ben. I subbed after Paz gave the shout out too, so that's wonderful. Any more guests planned for the channel, Andy? Yeah, I've got a conversation going on with Noel Wilcox because there's a couple of things in the pipeline to do with the ULEZ situation that he wants to talk about. And there's some Reform Party type stuff that needs airing as well. So we will have another chat at some point. Unfortunately, this week it's been a bit of a slow burner with regard to the channel and doing bits and pieces. We've had a few personal family issues going on this week with a particular member of my family, and we've had to deal with that, so to speak. But everything is moving in the right direction. I'm not going to mention who, what, or where because they'll probably hit me when I walk back in the house. They're probably watching. We'll have to sort something out. Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to it. I think we've got the similar cut of the jib, as it were. I never heard that until Paz said it the other day. What's this? Cosmic Wartime. Turns out I've now got over 1,100,000 fonts installed on my laptop. 1,100,000. I only literally use about 3 at best. Crazy, huh? Right. Where to start? Let's find the pictures. Well, what I want to say, first of all, is thank you very much, everybody. This is an update on how we're doing with the channel. 78,761 subscribers, up just over 2,000 in the last 28 days. So I very much appreciate all the support. And, I'm creeping very slowly towards that 80,000 mark. There's the Avon lady. You've been asked after. Hello, Mum. Hope you're okay. Yeah, getting up near 80,000. So always check your subscriptions if you've been here a while, because YouTube does have a habit of knocking you off every now and again, and it's a bit bloody annoying. I've had a couple of emails this week from people telling me just that. So, keep an eye on it. I've got a couple of emails to go through with you and another article, which is a bit, I don't know, hypocritical or ironic, and then we'll have a look at the comments. Over the last month, I suppose, I've had a couple of people, guests on the live stream with me who are talking about council tax and whether we should pay it, what it's about, and the processes by which we should deal with it. And when you look at that information, some people say, "Oh yeah, I'll do that. I won't pay it anymore." Others poo-poo it and say, "Well, you're supposed to pay it. Just shut up and get on with it." And others are in two minds, and it does cause an awful lot of confusion as to which way you should turn. And I received an email in the, I think it's about a week ago now, and I've yet to reply to this person, so I'm a little bit remiss. And I'll show it to you now. Hi, Andy. I hope you don't mind me emailing you. I came across your videos because I've just started watching and listening to lots of different things regarding not paying council tax. My head is all over the place. Also been stressed. My partner has got worried about me. She says I need to calm down because of my obsession. I know what you mean. I get stressed out with stuff as well. I told her, but our bill's gone up yet again. I'm not paying it. If they keep doing this, we won't be able to afford it anyway. I'm also approaching pension age, and that's not another thing I was worried about. Government making us work longer before we can get NI. That stressed me out. I also said they are O.O.O. I'm not quite sure what that refers to. My apologies for going on. For what I'd like to know is, I've heard that thousands of people have stopped paying. It's easier. Is it easier said than done? Also, same with utilities. I'm reading all sorts. My head is mashed. It was at the beginning of the old Kung Flu, but I won't go there anyhow. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards. And obviously, I've blanked their name out to preserve their anonymity. But that is just a stereotypical example of what's going on in the world right now. I mean, council tax just goes up and up and up every year. And there's no end in sight. I mean, you look at Birmingham, they're bankrupt, literally bankrupt. And I think the local authority is putting putting the council tax up by, well, I think it's somewhere between 20 to 30%. I can't remember the exact figure without looking, but they expect people to pay that. And, sorry, how many people are in trouble as it is? You're not going to get Joe Public to finance getting you out the tour if they're already in it and can't pay any more. And then you get this situation where you get lots of channels online that have guests. I've done it. Richard Vobes has had plenty of people on his channel who have done it, and you've got all that information floating around the airwaves saying, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that." It's all education. It's all, have a listen, and make your own mind up. See what you think, and either do it or don't do it. It's up to you. But just put it in front of you. And then, you look at people like the black belt barrister who say, well, no. You do that, you'll end up in jail. It is very much a minefield and very confusing. I suppose it's just a symptom of the world we're living in right now. And, that person probably isn't the only one out there that feels like that, I am sure. Anyway, you notice no Coke. Water, plain old commoner garden water. I've been meaning to get off the old brown stuff for quite some time, and I made the decision that I would only do it. I would only have the Coke if it went with a drop of scotch, which means I will have a couple of Cokes tomorrow because the scotch is coming out of the cupboard. Is that Thames water, Andy? Jean-Marc says. No, it isn't. Do they call that bankrupt water or Highland Bank or Highland Erupt or something? I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. In a Copperberg glass, yes, Cosmic War Toad, it is a Copperberg glass. It's not one of those ones that got nicked out the pub. It's one that was bought as a gift one time. Birmingham has gone up by 21%, Andy. Thank you, Julie. I knew it was somewhere around that figure, but I couldn't quite remember which. Hello, Inspector C. Good to see you. Reform BBC. Hope you're well, my friend. Another good channel to go and have a look at. As the name implies, not very happy with the BBC like the rest of us. Tony Tasker, water, the new name for vodka. I can assure you there's no vodka in here, and it's not very holy either, Declan. I thought I'd give it a try because I've noticed lately, after about half an hour of talking, raspy, yeah, not great. Not great. Right. Another thing. I did a poll in the week, which I wanted to share with you. And it was about the boats coming across the channel. And it was a very simple question. It was, do you think the solution to stopping these boats is really a simple one? Is it yes? Is it no? Or do you think the government knows what it is already, but just won't do it? And this will tie into something else. Well, let's have a look at the results of that. Share screen. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Now, this is the community page of my channel, Andy the Gabby Cabby. I'm always dumping all sorts of stuff on there. And I'll put this full screen so you can see it a little bit clearer. Now, the poll was, Do you think the solution to the boat issue in the channel really is a simple one? Just under 6,000 votes. 62% of you said yes. 6% of you said no. And 32% of you said the government knows how to do it already, but just won't. And if we have a look, about 800 of you commented. So very, very emotive, stop the benefits, stop legal aid for applications, give them nothing, just return them. Come to that in a minute. If the illegal migrants know who the smugglers are, then so do the governments. If governments know who they are, they can stop them. No benefits, send them back. You're all of like mind there, but it's very telling that all of you believe that the answer is very simple. Just and it's such a complicated mess. Now, I did a video on this the other day where somebody actually come out with the statement, pick them up and drop them back in Calais. And it was stated that you can't drop them back in Calais because the presence of a Royal Navy destroyer or boots on the ground on the French coastline could be considered an invasion of sorts. And I thought, well, surely if it's search and rescue operations, it's not an invasion. They can just, drop them off and leave. Is it that simple? I don't know. Mick Hardstaff, I can't remember whether I said hello to you, but hello to you. I noticed you in the chat. I can't remember with the list, but I hope you're well, my friend. Well, that leads into this, right? Now, there is an agreement between France and Britain, which is, years old. And, you had this from the Daily Fail. Buckingham Palace will be guarded by French soldiers for the first time in history, all to mark 120 years of friendly relations between Britain and the old enemy. Obviously, at some stage, we were at war with France, going back to the Napoleonic era. But all it is, it's the changing of the guard. The French are going to be involved. And you see that picture there, that's just a mock-up, as it says in the description. And this is the kind of thing you're going to have. For the first time in history, Buckingham Palace will be guarded by French troops in a drill approved by King Charles to mark 120 years of friendly relations between our countries. And you can see a little bit of it there. Actually lined up with their weaponry and everything else. So there's no problem with the French coming over here at the King's approval to participate in an activity right in our country. But when it comes to the security of our borders, when it comes to actually going over there and preventing people from making landfall, you think, well, shouldn't it work the other way? Why is it all one-sided? Why do we have to put up with it all? It's not fair. Somebody just said, yeah, I like that comment. Where is it? Here we are. Richard Sharp would be turning in his grave. Absolutely. I used to love Sharp. Absolutely brilliant series. I saw them all, including the more recent ones. So, all right, it's ceremonial and there might not be anything to it, but they're quite welcome to come here and participate in one of our oldest military ceremonies. And when it comes to the security of our shoreline, they won't let us over. Or some bright spark said, constitutes an invasion. Yes, of course it does. So what are they doing there? What's good for the goose is good for the gander, I think. Cheryl, the Queen, would be going crazy about it. I think the Queen would be going crazy about a lot of things. God rest her soul. Anyway, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. I've got a couple hundred of you watching. Good to see you all. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, share the hell out of my stuff. If you've got social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or anything else, give it a go. Should have been a Sharp and Hornblower crossover. That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Mick, what is happening to our country. We're giving it away to everyone. Yeah, I know. But, there's one thing that's very, very sinister. There's a couple of YouTubers that I know, Paz being one of them, and Simon Sideways being the other, have both had their collars felt by YouTube to various degrees. And if you look at the subject matter or the direct approach they take to subject matter involving certain demographics, they're very direct. And the powers that be that run this platform don't seem to like that very much. So people have to tread carefully when they advertise this stuff. Otherwise, you lose, well, everything ultimately. You lose everything. They just don't want it talked about. It's not a nice feeling that you can't fully express yourself as much as you'd want to. I understand years ago you could. I really do. Right. The next thing, I got another email. Oh yeah. It is very hard to tread carefully these days. Absolutely. I've found over the course of time, Gobster, that there are certain words you can substitute for other words, or you can approach a subject from an angle where you'll be okay with it as long as you don't mention certain triggers that, well, set off certain things, and you can get your point across. But even that's a little bit sketchy these days. Shield wall, even reform. The supposed great hope is in league with hope, not hate. I'm bringing a video out about that tomorrow, and I've messaged somebody that a contact of mine associated with reform, and I've said, have you seen this being said about Richard Tice? And what I would appreciate is some kind of comment or some kind of statement which we can put out there, because at the end of the day, we're running out of hope, and I hate it. We need to determine what the right course of action is, because if we stick with the same old, we're going to get the same old. What's the alternative? Is it a reform without Tice, or is it reform totally? Is reform the problem? So many comments are coming out now that it's not great. Stuart, problem I have with reform is so many leaving the other groups and swamping reform, so it's going to end up the same. That is my concern. If you look at least one of the recent by-elections, it's had somebody that's ex-establishment, an ex-Labour MP, going into a by-election, and they were never going to win in a month of Sundays, because reform should mean just that, reform. It's not good. Yes, this other email, and we'll go through this, and then we'll look at some of your comments, because there's a few stacking up there. Another thing I like to cover is your energy bills, gas, electricity, cost of living in general. And when I do this sort of stuff, I get emails through from people with worries, concerns, or additional information that I might not necessarily have and could have done with. Well, I received an email from an individual who does want to remain anonymous, but they were okay with me reading out the details. So what I've done, I've cut out their ages, their living arrangements, and their gender and everything else to try and keep them stum. But, it's an email that's worth reading. So here it is. And I know it's tiny, but I've got the full version so I can read it to you. Okay. I'm with British Gas for electric and gas. I don't take meter readings and haven't for a couple of years at least. Last time, the guy took a photo of the meters inside the house without my permission. They then started sending me letters to replace the meters. Oh, I've started getting those again, I tell you, which I ignore because I don't want smart meters. I don't engage with them, and they don't have my current email address. A couple of days ago, I decided to go online and put meter readings in because Martin Lewis of Money Saving Experts said put readings and email them a timestamp photo of them as well. And do it now to avoid them charging at the higher rate price hike for this period. I went online a couple of days ago and logged in. I'm totally shocked to find both my accounts were marked closed and I was unable to put any reading in. To add to this, their records of my payments only showed up to August 2023 of last year. Yet they had increased my direct debits where I was paying over £300 a month for electricity. I get a bill every 6 months with estimated readings, weirdly. They sent me a letter a couple of months ago to say they were reducing my direct debit as I've been paying too much. Today, the 2nd of April, so I've had this for about, 5 days, a guy puts a card through the door. No knock that I heard, but the card was not from British Gas, but a service, Morrison's Data Services. Do any of your viewers know who they are? Have they had these cards too? Well, I've got this card here and I'll show you. There it is. Action required. Important meter readings required. Morrison's Data Services is the UK's leading utility data services business appointed by your energy supplier to obtain up-to-date meter readings. As far as I'm aware, Morrison Services are literally the company that meter reading services are outsourced to. If anybody can shed any more light on that, that'd be great. We need your meter reading for both meters. Please visit our website or call us. Alternately, scan the QR code opposite and it will direct you to our MyReads webpage where you can submit your readings. So basically a worrying card through the post. The card with red marking states action required, asking me to send them meter readings within 48 hours. It says if I can't provide meter readings to them, to contact my supplier and ask for an appointment. We all know what that means. Important to note on the reverse of the card telling you how to take meter readings. I'm suspicious because previously, if ever I sent readings to the British Gas website via my account, a guy would then come out about a week later to actually read the meter. Don't know if this was normal. I'm worried I'm going to open the door and find a bunch of guys wanting to force entry and put meters in. I don't know if this card is a scam. I don't think it's a scam because it is a company that's, actually real. But the reason it's been put through your door might be a little bit questionable. But British Gas now knows I've been into my accounts, maybe not. However, I'm wondering what powers, domestic and legal, this service has been given with regard to entry to our homes. That's my big worry here. I'm panicking a bit. I don't normally. I think British Gas are forcing me to get in touch with them by closing my online accounts. What are they really up to? The question: should I send this service my meter readings, etc.? Any advice from you and your other subscribers would be greatly appreciated. Sorry for the lengthy email. I'm running out of data on my phone, blah, 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 blah. Well, I will reply to that email personally. But, without going into detail and revealing their identity, all I will say is there is a position of vulnerability here with this individual, with their actual circumstances. They've obviously been very freaked out by what they found online with British Gas, in the fact they've closed the account and then get a red card from someone they've never ever heard of. So I can understand wholeheartedly why they are freaked. Now, I'm not in any way, shape or form legally qualified. I don't profess to be, but what I would do personally, I would disregard this card asking you for meter readings, and I would go straight to British Gas and I would say, excuse me, why have you closed my account? And go down that line. If they want meter readings from you, then all right. That's your choice whether you go down that route or not. But British Gas need to be asked, why have you closed my account? And if you don't get the appropriate answer, then you should be involving, I think it's Ofwat, the energy ombudsman, and go down that route, because you've been treated completely unfairly. And obviously I have a little bit of knowledge from behind the scenes that you've given me, which I won't publicize, but considering what you did tell me, you probably got a case. So I would definitely go down that route. And as Soundwave says, they need a warrant to force entry, but can only do this if the meter is out of date. There you go. Cheers, Chris. Off Gem. I couldn't remember whether it was off Gem or off what. Don't know. Off what's water, isn't it? Get mixed up between the two. Speaking of water. But that's the great thing I love about this channel. Messages come in, and if somebody can help somebody else, we'll do it. It's really a marvelous thing. Anyway, folks, we're at the halfway mark. So, as usual, let's have a look what you have to say. But before I do, thank you very much. If you haven't done so already, give it a thumbs up. We've got, 2, 3, 5 in the chat. We're across Facebook and Twitter tonight as well, or X, or whatever you want to call it. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and share everything. I've got more videos coming out tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning. There's 4 of them. So look forward to them. I've been playing around with titles and thumbnails and different bits and pieces, trying to put a little bit more of my identity across the channel so you can see it's me, and hashtags and all bits and pieces, just having a bit of an experiment. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Right, let's have a look at these comments. So who got some reduced Easter chocolate then? I'll tell you what, I think we got about 8 Easter eggs sat in our cupboard. I think the reduced Easter eggs are probably the ones called gesture eggs, which no one will buy out of protest, and they're sitting there going off, so I have to knock them off on the cheap. Probably rename them back to Easter eggs just to get rid of them. The Loving Healing Company, you reading the 2030 WEF agreements yet? No, I am not. And I intend to obviously have a look, because it's going to be very important what's in there, isn't it? Andy the Gabby Cabby. Hi, Andy. Boiler in your garage. Yes, it is. Watching always. We've been in this house 10 years, give or take. My youngest son, Jack, he's, nearly 11, believe it or not. And he was 6 months old when we moved in here. And the boiler was in the kitchen. And it was one of the old things where you had the water tank in the loft, and we had air trapped in the system. So when we were in bed at night, you'd hear row, 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 crash, crash, crash. Drove me absolutely insane. And when they put the new combi boiler in, they put it out here where I'm sat now. You probably don't pick up on it, but I can literally hear out of my right ear, drip, 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 driving me crackers. But get that sorted. Pete, interesting one for you. RE Disabled Blue Badge renewal. What a chuffing game. 12 weeks because they forgot to send out a reminder. Oh, they do that now, don't they, Pete? They don't send out reminders anymore. I have that with taxi licensing. The licensing authority, the council, used to send reminders out to say you've got to do this, that, and the other by these dates, otherwise you've had it. They don't do it anymore. P. Matego, just liked. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Tony Whitworth, what the fuck? 6-month jail or £5,000 fine if you do not register that you keep even one chicken in Scotland. Starts on September the 24th. September the 1st, 2024. It's for your own good. They're all clucked. That's all I can say about that. I mean, what's that? Not registering a chicken, a hate crime. Report it to Hams are useless. Some of the laws that are coming out now are absolutely ridiculous, aren't they? I think they're designed to piss us all off. Rare Nebula just liked, what happens if you eat the chicken? You probably have to declare yourself as well. Jackie, sensibly, that might be one of the reasons. We're in jest, but £5,000 and 6 months. Jesus. Mick Hardstaff, the press and the news channels have been instructed by the Lords not to show any bad publicity about electric cars. I wonder why that is. Yeah, I mean, you see all the bad stuff. I mean, I had a conversation the other day about electric cars. I get it all the time. You're driving along in your big diesel guzzler from Gatwick and you go, you ever considered electric, Andy? I considered it and then disregarded it. Next question. Happens all the time. It just shows how much you're trying to push it on everybody. And some of the narrative I see as well in the news about electric cars sales are going up. Chargers, more charging stations are going in because sales are going up. No, more charging stations are going in because you didn't have enough charging stations to begin with to, accommodate the people that had electric cars. It's a fallacy. Hopefully they'll all wake up sooner or later. Mark and Janice, we get emails, text, phone calls and account messages every week about getting a smart meter. That level of harassment tells me all I need to know. Totally agree with you. I was getting regular things saying, have this cheaper tariff, but you can only have it if you get a smart meter. Your meter is due replacement. We need to inspect your meter. Your meter's past its sell-by date. We need to come and replace it. Blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. I mean, you can have a smart meter put in, apparently, with all the smart features turned off. But my argument is, what's stopping them switching them on again? It's the electricity and gas companies have certain targets that they have to meet. At the end of the day, the powers that be want a smart meter in every home in the UK. There's no two ways about it. And this is where they start getting a bit crotchety and a bit, come on, put that meter in. It's been going on for a while. David Johnson, hi Andy. If all the high street shops are going bust, where's the money coming from to support our local infrastructures that come out of council tax? Very valid point. I mean, I walked up my local high street the other day, and there was an old shoe shop, a shoe express shop. And I remember going in there myself, and it's shut. It's got posters all over it. Some silly council advert right at the top of it. Welcome to Margate. Not a very good advert, is it? There should be a business in there, and it should be thriving. Tony Whitworth, mini cab drivers won't have to prove they can speak English under plans backed by... I've heard this. Drivers of Black London taxis have warned Capital's mayor that move compromises passenger safety. Well, yes, it does. Of course it does. There was, going back 13 years when I first got my taxi license and I did the knowledge test. In our area, the knowledge test was just a written test. They've made it slightly more complicated now. And there was a guy in there that couldn't speak a word of English. And he kept asking the examiner every question, what does this mean? What does this mean? I looked at him and I thought, how the hell can you do the job if you can't communicate? It's crazy. I did see him years later, but he banded round a few taxi firms and didn't get on very well. I don't know what happened to him in the end. Might be one of these that lost his license, but I won't want to comment. CD0071, last year's bill was 205 quid band A, single person. This year it's 250 quid. What's that? 25% increase, give or take? That's unbelievable, isn't it? And, there should be a referendum before they put it up by an amount. I think mine's gone up by about 15 quid for our place. Gobster talks about things. Birmingham's tax is up 21% over 2 years, getting their citizens to pay for their messed up spending. Add on to that, they're also reducing services. Disgusting. Yeah, it's disgusting. The other thing as well getting citizens to pay for their messed up spending. How can they pay for their messed up spending if they haven't got it to pay them? I don't think these councils quite get the whole picture, do they? I'm running out of water. No wonder I had Coke. Andrew, the council tax is crippling a lot of us. No end in sight of it going up again, and lots of money spent on illegal immigrants and not much spent on the roads. Somebody, I had a go the other day. I did a short where I saw this massive pothole in the road, and somebody said, "Yeah, don't spend the council tax; it's all road tax." Well, where's that going as well? We get all this money taken off of us. Where's it going, and what's it really being spent on? It's a big pot that somebody's got somewhere. It's despicable, but I appreciate the sentiment. I really do. Where are the services? What's going on? Years road tax and council tax make me angry. The more they go up, the less they collect the bins or fix the roads. Surely it'd be the other way around. I'll tell you what. I went to Gran Canaria in February. I haven't been there in 20 years since I went back, and they've put a new motorway in, the GC1 they call it, right down the middle, and it's the smoothest piece of tarmac I've ever seen in my life. No bumps, no bounces, no potholes, no nothing. It was just wonderful. And then I look back to the main road that we have to go on to drive into where we live in Thanet, and I think, what the hell went wrong? They screwed the construction of that up, granted, when they put it in, but the difference when you go and have a look at somewhere else, a bit like the cheap beer and cheap fags as well. Jean-Marc, oh my God, did you know it's changing in October 2024 on the French border, the ETIAS scheme? Do you know about this, Andy? No, I don't, Jean-Marc. Please tell me more. Tell me more. I appreciate that. Tony Whitworth, WTF. You like that at the moment, don't you? WTF. Around Sunday, Monday, POTUS will tweet, "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. We will go full global martial law, likely to be on board AF1 when he sends out." Really? Okay. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Tony Whitworth, am I the only person that thinks it's strange that lightning legit struck the Statue of Liberty and an earthquake hit New York the next day? It's a coincidence, isn't it? It is a very strange coincidence. I don't really hear about earthquakes in New York City. I saw they were on Staten Island looking down, weren't they, from the top of the Statue of Liberty, and it looked a bit weird. P. Matego, now politically homeless after watching Paz 49 video today on Tice and reform. Yeah, Paz is very good at reading between the lines and seeing things that possibly other people won't see and bringing them out. Not conspiratorial by any shape or form, but really asking questions that no one else is. And that is very, very valuable. Now, I will look at a situation and I will be matter of fact. Well, these people got booted out because they said or did something in the past, which has come back to bite them on the arse. But the question does remain: who made that decision and why? And does that resonate with the key voters that they're trying to attract? There's too much of a swell of this going on at the moment, and I want to try and get to the bottom of it or put something out there. And again, it's all designed for you to make your own mind up, Jean-Marc, Morrison's data service is a third-party contractor that takes meter readings in that particular area, but send your meter readings directly to the supplier. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. I wouldn't go with Morrison's. I would go straight to British Gas, and I would start with, "Excuse me, why have you closed my account?" And then we go from there. Chris, they refused to read meters. I asked the other day, had to do it myself. Who was that, Morrison's or your supplier? Let me know. Tony Whitworth, Star Trek returning to Earth. The comms officer says, Captain, before we can return to our Earth, we must pay a ULEZ fee or face the wrath of there might be a photon torpedo in that somewhere, possibly. But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. David Williams, Morrison's only take a photo of the meter to make sure it hasn't been tampered with. They will not send you a bill. Happened to me many times. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I don't know what it's like now, but you used to be able to do some crazy things to meters, couldn't you? There used to be a publication online, and I've not seen it in years. It was called the Jolly Rogers Cookbook, and it was how to do all sorts of dodgy things, and I think including faffing about with meters. Declan, Andy, are you sure it's not holy water? Because I can see a halo over your head. Is that the light in the background, maybe? I wouldn't quite call it a halo. Wonderful. Jason Boyd, what's doing my head in is you can only open a bank account online nowadays. Yeah, I mean, so many branches are shutting everywhere, aren't they? No matter where you look. I mean, I'm considering my options right now. I have my business accounts and I have my personal accounts with Santander. And my local branch is shut. There's another branch which is barely open. In fact, it's very difficult to get in there. The other branch that's usually open is 15 miles away, which is a quick duck in and out of there on the way to or from Gatwick. And it's not always practical. So I'm looking at my options. Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. Ian, British Gas are changing the account numbers to a new system. This may or may not be the case with the email. Lost £575 I paid for 2 weeks. You lost £575? My God. How can they lose £575? You know, if you paid it by card or whatever, there's a bank statement. Go swivel. And again, is that a job for the ombudsman? I'd take it up with them, definitely. Jason, Rochdale is all closing down due to tax rises. We have 3 shopping centres now that have closed down, and then they go build another one. Yeah, I mean, we've got several high streets here. I mean, we've got Margate, we've got Ramsgate, and we've got Broadstairs. Broadstairs isn't doing too bad. It's never really been affected. The main places were Margate and Ramsgate, and that's where everybody went to shop. You had Marks and Spencer's, all sorts of stuff. And then up the road, they built a big shopping centre called Westwood Cross years ago. And what happened, they moved all of the shops up there and it killed the high streets. Now, my hometown, Margate, they've got lots of little micro pubs and lots of little smaller traders and little micro businesses popping up all over the place. So you've got people from London come down and put money in the place and everything else. So it's kind of changed the way it looks. Everything goes in a cycle. I mean, Ian Williamson, no, they found it after 2 weeks. Well, at least they found it. I think they owe you something for the inconvenience. Yeah, everything goes in a cycle. I mean, I've lived in this area all my life, never moved. Well, Canterbury for a couple of years. And I've seen it in the 80s. You know, I was born in the 70s. And my first clear memories are in the 80s. And I remember what this place used to be like. And then I saw it go downhill and then slowly creep back up again. And hopefully, you know, something will happen in your area. But there's a lot of problems all over the country now, isn't there? A lot of problems. That's me being the optimist. Gary, GMC and Ford are going bankrupt. GMC is firing all employees and moving out of the USA. Is this down to the electric car phenomenon, maybe, or something else going on? Kevin, I regret getting a smart meter. Eventually realised it wasn't even sending my gas readings through to the energy company. I'm not surprised at that because, you know, there's all sorts of reported problems. So for 7 months, they were estimating my gas and they didn't think to tell me. Well, you wouldn't think to check. as it's a smart meter and it should be doing that for you. I hope you got it sorted. P. Matego, what are your thoughts on the ban of combi boilers to please the net zero lunatics? We're going back to prehistoric Stone Age. Well, the way my combi boiler's playing up at the moment, they can keep it. But seriously, I think it's complete lunacy because they're talking about these ground and air sourced heat pumps, aren't they? Which are supposed to be more environmentally friendly. They try and force them on us with possible grants, which are going to push the overall cost of ownership up because grants won't be free. They have to be paid for somehow. They'll pass them on to the bills and the installation costs. And also, they're not efficient enough because you've got somewhere like Spain or the Caribbean or Gran Canaria, anywhere with a hotter climate where that hot air is available, where you can pump it for a property, fine. But not here. We don't have the climate for it. And if we do, it's very, if we get it, it doesn't last very long. And these things apparently are full of problems from what I'm led to believe as well. So it's more net zero lunacy. Yours, Rhoda, not to mention, they don't erase pollution. They just change the location of where the pollution gets into the air. I mean, London is a good example. You look at the ULEZ, the issues with ULEZ there. You look at the pollution map of London and then try and justify me why it costs £12.50 a day to drive in the place. Angela, good night. Hope you're well and thank you for stopping by. Put your empty glass under your leaking boiler. It soon fills up for you. I'll tell you what, Tony, I've got a container under there catching the water at the moment. And I changed it, and it's looking a bit full. It's not good. Pete, we do not pay road tax now. Not paid it for a good number of years. It's now vehicle excise duty. They killed road tax. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pete. It is vehicle excise duty, but to some like me, we always still call it road tax. But you are absolutely correct. I can't argue with that. The two are sort of linked, quakes and lightning. Okay, I didn't realise that. Going back to New York and the Statue of Liberty, I didn't realise that. It was a strange coincidence, wasn't it, though, to the uneducated. Yours, Rhoda, my friends and I on motorbike trips have made similar experiences with roads in Spain and France. Not so much in Italy. Yeah, how tidy they are. Torren Wade, the UN building was struck while they were mocking Israel. The building was shaking. God judgment. Again, yeah, I mean, if you believe in the eternal, that could be something. Mick Paz seems to make his own lines and expects everyone to go along with him. But if he fucks it up, he will admit it. I've seen him do that many a time. I consider Paz a mate of mine now. We communicate literally on a daily basis. And at the end of the week, the 13th, I think, I'm actually going to meet him face to face for the first time because I've got a job that's going to take me in his neck of the woods. And we're going to meet up and have a cuppa and a chat. So I'm looking forward to that. Meet the man himself. Andy Taylor. My fellow Americans won't come just yet. It's just a reminder. Okay. Pure Salvation, Andy. We need a completely new bunch of people running this country. I couldn't agree with you more. We need an economical growth, the Great Jobs Creation Program. Also need a proper manufacturing industrial policy from. Yeah, I mean, what they've done to try and cover their arse over the years, they've literally just layered it one on top of the other, haven't they? New law, new law, new law, new legislation, new legislation, new legislation. And it's just a convoluted mess of bullshit. And we're in a lot of trouble. But it needs to stop. It needs to change. It's like a bully in a schoolyard, isn't it? They need pushing back. Anne-Marie White. Farms up here in Northumberland are flooded and crops will be ruined. No farms, no food. I saw a video that my mate Russ did earlier when he took the dogs out for a walk. The weather didn't look that great, and I know he's up north somewhere. Lord England, if voting made a difference, they wouldn't let us anywhere near it. I've heard that said before. You know, people that are politically homeless, there's very much to be said for I do not consent. You know, you see a couple of people or a couple of areas where they've had by-elections and it's returned an MP with a high percentage of a vote. But when you look at the percentage of the electorate that actually came out and voted, the two just don't marry up. It's not good. Daphne Lynch, I'm in Santander. I had to phone them because I needed a new card. I said, I need some money. He said, go to the bank. I said, well, they're all shut. Wait for it. He blamed the old kung flu. Yeah, well, that's their go-to excuse, isn't it? My favourite one at the moment is, you know, we still get checks every now and again. My wife does Avon, and some of her customers pay her with a check. Try paying a bloody check in the post office down the road. You need this paperwork, this paperwork, this paperwork. You only get from the bank. Crazy. Mr. Vulcan Bomber, Andy, hope we can all chat about tactical voting before the next election. Yeah, it's the first past the post thing that really gets to me, because they all say, oh, a vote for them is a vote for that one. And there's so many disenfranchised people at home that won't come out and vote. It could make all the difference. And, you know, they won't. I understand why they won't, but they won't, and they need to. Tech Junkies 68's Music and Tech. I lived in Ramsgate in 1990. Interesting place at the time. Not been back since I left. Wow. Wonderful. Yeah, it's changed. It has changed. You know, the harbour area in that particularly is really nice. Mark and Janice, Alfie Solomon said in Peaky Blinders, if this is hell, it looks a lot like Margate. Margate isn't so bad now. It went through a time where it was really down on its uppers, I tell you. Declan, any advice? I'm getting close to the big 5-0. What's it like, people? I've got the same question. I'm 46, my next birthday, so I've only got 4 years to go myself until the big 5-0. And the scary thing is, it comes quick. Peter, I missed that comment, blood. Where is it? It disappeared. Something about 50, but hopefully you'll find it again. Oh, there we go. When you get to 50, the warranty runs out. Is that where you creak a bit more and ache a bit more and everything goes slower? Oh, hang on. Put that other comment on, blood. I'm over 50. Get your health checks done. Yeah. Well, you're supposed to get an MOT when you're over, is it 40 or 45? Something like that. I'm 45 and I'm still waiting for mine. I've just reached 62 last Friday. Julie, happy birthday. I'm remiss. I always wish you a happy birthday every year, and I totally forgot. Did you get as pissed as you usually do? That's what I want to know. Oh, bag, once you hit 50, it's downhill. I'm 52 this month. Wow, you're filling me with confidence. Much. Pure Salvation, Andy, what's your opinion on the Julian Assange extradition case? Well, they just want to absolutely ruin him, don't they? They want to bury him. They want to rip him to pieces. He's, you know, released so much, and the establishment will, well, destroy him slowly. I think it's one of those absolute enormous travesties that shouldn't be allowed to happen. But that's all I can say about that, really. All I can really say. Tech Junkies, Music and Tech. Farms should sell to people direct. Cut out the big supermarkets. They should not take subsidies from governments either. It's a trap. The relative that I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream, or the problem we had calls to go to the hospital. And when I went to the hospital, in the foyer, they had one of these old-fashioned farmers markets. biggest apples I've seen in years. They were ginormous. And the biggest grapes I've seen in years, the biggest strawberries I've seen in years. And I looked and I thought, I need to know where this shop is, because you don't find any fruit and veg to this quality everywhere else. It's it was really something. Daphne, do you think the attack on reform is coming from the MSM because they're afraid they will make a real chance? Daphne, the way I look at it, the establishment is made up of the political parties or the political system we have, and then it's made up of the mainstream media, whose job it is to, influence our opinion, make us believe what we're supposed to. And when there is a clear and existential threat from something else to that setup, and they start saying certain things, you have to wonder whether you might have a point, Daphne. They're linking Richard Tice to Hope Not Hate. They're talking about candidates being deselected. It's all little chinks in the armor, and unless you're on the inside and you really know what's going on, it's a lot like the internet as well, and YouTube. You get YouTubers saying things about other YouTubers, and we all know our own truth. And unfortunately, what you see is what's in front of the camera. They program us, that's right. And it's down to you to make a judgment call, and then you'll either be proven right or proven wrong in the long run, and you have to face the consequences of your actions. And as far as reform goes, we have to make a choice of what's right or what's wrong. If we take the chance and go for it and we're proven right, this country's saved. If not, then there will be consequences like anything else. Country's always been run by Whitehall and City, the establishment. Absolutely. Well, folks, we're at the hour and 2 minutes and 19 seconds. I've been through all of your comments, and obviously we shared a couple of bits earlier. Now, tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning, there will be 4 videos coming out, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I managed to get all them out. I've been a little bit slack this week, particularly the last few days, so apologies for that. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on this live, because it helps share everything out. We actually got over 300 at one point, so I was quite pleased with that. According to the statistics, more of you are watching these things than ever before, so that's wonderful. Please subscribe if you haven't done so and you're new here. And if you are a regular, please check you still are, because YouTube plays silly buggers with this sometimes. If you've got social media, share this or share any of my videos, because again, it does help. Good to be back. Excellent, Daphne. Good to see you. Well, from me, from Blood Nose in the background and everybody else, Andy the Gabby Cabby, till next time, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, I bid you toodaloo.